Welcome back, my friends, to Learning Torah Lishma. We're going to continue on the discussion of how we could protect ourselves, how we could protect our community from pedophiles. Now, it's important to note that when we're talking about this, we're also talking about a Baal Taiva also. So let's just define. A pedophile is someone that is he has this attraction. He wants to kids. Now, there's another thing about Taiva, someone who has strong sexual urges and he's not attracted to kids. It could be someone he wants everything, or usually he's attracted to other adults, right? In normal times, they're attracted to the opposite sex. Today, with the brainwash of the videos, it could be that they're attracted also to their same sex. So, just to understand, there's these two things that, we sort of jump between them because they're both very similar topics. There is one slight difference, that the pedophile, he has this this urge that doesn't, for children, which is not the norm. You understand? So there is that difference. So, in our Jewish class, we're talking about both aspects, and also to protect your community, you need to protect from both. You understand? So most of the things apply to both, and each person, each head of their community, whether they're a Jewish community or not a Jewish community, whatever it is, they have to really come up with a plan of how to go about this, because there are X amount of people, no matter which religion, no matter which community, all in all different parts of the world, and all different types of people. You have people that are wired with this, they come to this world and they're just wired, and there's something wrong in their wiring, and usually there's nothing you could do about it. Now, the person, of course, can know his weakness and learn to control it, absolutely. God does not give us a test that we cannot, overcome. And it could be maybe in his previous life, he did wrong things to kids, and now he came back to this world with this urge because of the way he acted in his previous life. You never know, you understand? But, it's not our place to we're not God, so we're just giving a possibility. Because remember, Hashem is not giving a person defects. Those defects come because of him. Now, there's another, right? There's these types of people, whether a person who is a pedophile or someone that has Baal Taiva, he has his lust, his sexual lust is very big. Right, it could be that it's just something, his wiring is off. Could be. It could also be, right, it could be a type of wiring that there's nothing to do about it. It could also be that maybe this person is, if he eats certain things, his wiring, it will help him to be balanced. You understand? It could be that maybe he's in some type of cult, and they feed him in a way that his brain doesn't work properly, and weird things happen, right? And that could also be, there's many scenarios, right? It could be someone watches videos from a young age, and now they're starting to, even for kids videos, I mean, for anybody it's not good, but no one could argue that for kids it's extra damaging. And he's watching these videos, and they're portraying um, a pedophile, or they're portraying people with crazy lusts, and so and they need to be clean. Their mind has to be clean. They have to stop watching it and let their mind be cleaned and fill themselves with holiness. You understand? Fill themselves with purpose, with kindness. This is very powerful. Doing kindness is one of the biggest powers of fighting against the Yetzer Hara, the Satan. Another big power is getting married, right? The Gemara tells us, the Talmud tells us, this pas basala, you have someone, he's starving, and a rich man comes and gives him a little basket with some bread in it. All of a sudden, he sees his friend that he hasn't seen for years. It's not like today, everybody has phones, they could just WhatsApp each other, you understand? In the olden days, you could sometimes not see someone for 10 years. So all of a sudden, you see someone they didn't see for 10 years, and this person, he says, you know what, I have the food, I could eat soon. He talks to him. But right before he got that food, 2 minutes ago, he was so hungry, he couldn't imagine waiting another 2 minutes for food. And all of a sudden, now that he has food, he's able to wait, he's able to control himself. The answer is, the Gemara tells us, it's called pas basala. When you have what you need, then then you could really extend the time until you use it. You understand? So, right, in most scenarios, that's what happened. Of course, it could be someone that's literally on the brink of death, absolutely. But in most scenarios, that's not the case. It's just that the person's really, really hungry. You understand? But once he has it, he knows he's safe, he has it. Now he could take his leisurely time. By Jews, it happens all the time by a fast. Once the fast is over, you're not as hungry as you were on the fast. You understand? Meaning towards the end of it, the last hour is the hardest. But after the hour, okay, you let the other guy get a rugula before you. You understand? You're not. So this is how it works. So someone wants to. So that's another thing, marriage, right? Having a proper marriage, a man to a woman to a man. And even though this person might be a pedophile or have strong, crazy sexual urges, the fact that they have a spouse, meaning married to, not boyfriend, girlfriend, not that they're living together, really married, that, they're really committed to each other. That's what, the marriage does. It creates a level of commitment that it completely changes each one of their lives, hopefully for the better, right? So this is what happens. So then, even though they have it, some pas basala, they have it. It could be it's not exactly what they wanted, A pedophile wants kids, but the fact that they have a spouse, they already have something, and it helps them to control themselves. So that's something. And also someone has very expansive, strong sexual urges. The same thing. They have someone, it weakens, it gives them extra power to control their urges, right? And so these are different things. You have to learn how to pick up different tools and how to help yourself in that scenario, right? And even a person who has a normal balance, right? Most people have a normal balance. It also helps them to be more righteous, to be more holy. Right? So this is, it's a win-win. So this is another thing. We have to, in life, we have to learn to be proactive, Before this person ends up doing something bad, put him in a situation that he has a lot of tools to fight against the evil of that wants to get him to do things. You understand? Not unfortunately in today's world we're just reactive. It's after the person molested someone, and now you're like, well, we could fix him. It's after the act. You understand? It's, if someone, God forbid, did something wrong and it didn't get out and they really fixed themselves, there's no reason for them to now tell everybody. But if and if you meet that person after they fixed themselves and you found out about it, there's no reason to tell anybody because the person fixed themselves. But when the person does it, then you do need to tell people, because he or she has this. We don't know. Maybe they'll do it again. You understand? You can't say, I'm not going to tell them because we'll help them to get better. Right now, they're not. When they do get better, then we could, take them off the list. We could, put them in a different place, and we could help them, to reconnect to society. But until they fix themselves, they're a danger to society. Understand? They're a danger to people's children, to your kids. They're a danger to society. You understand? So they're a danger to people's wives, a danger to people's husbands. So this is important. It's each community, they really have to work at this. In this Jewish class, this year we're just touching the surface. There's a lot of depth, and each community, each leader of a community, leader of a rabbi, a person that's leading a community, or in charge. Sometimes you have you could have the people, the governor, the people in charge of the state, people in charge who are in charge of groups of people should create a system, and we should try to work together to make the best scenario that we can, and to know how to deal with this, because this is you have to understand that that this is something that does exist, and it could be that really there's the person just wired wrong, or it could be other factors, and we want to prevent before something terrible happens. And if something terrible happens, then we need to let people know until that person really changed. And we really need to get a system put together. We really need to find, there's people that are experts. Today you have all these rich guys with all these courses of how to become rich, and people buy it. It could be $3,000, and it's a lot of money, and people buy it. You understand? And why are they buying it? Because they understand that if you want to learn how to make money, why don't you go to someone that knows how to do it, right? There's people that have expertise in different areas. There are people that have a very good chush, a very good sense of, is this person lying? Did it really happen? They have an ability to understand what happened. Is this person just wired wrongly, or is it something that was pressed upon them by society, by their parents, by the videos, by their friends? But they're able to figure out things and deal with things. They have a perspective because they're an expert in this area. There are people that are experts, and we really need to have a vetting. The people in charge of communities, the people in charge of taking care of people, really need to have they have to vet, not when it happens, after it happens, or when you suspect something happened. Before anything happens, you need to get people, you need to say this is a position that's open, try to find people, vet them, and make sure, right, if someone did something, they can never be part of this. It has to be someone that's completely clean, and that has this understanding in this area. It's a very complex area, right? Because people could also lie, and then you're hurting someone for no reason. You understand? So you really need, maybe have 3 experts, and you need 2 out of the 3 to confirm it. You understand? but it should be something that's done very quickly, because that, this person could hurt someone else, and preferred that person should now just be watched until it's confirmed yes or no, and then hopefully it's no, and God forbid if it's yes, then you have a system, and these people will understand how to, these experts will understand how to put together a system for you, and over time you'll get better at it, and they also understand that there could be a new case that they didn't think about, but they understand the sugya, they understand the complexities in this area, and they could figure out quickly how to deal with it, and at the same time keep everybody safe. You understand? There's also, like, if the person lied, now did that person just walk off scot-free? You understand that there also has to be repercussion, right? This person is also dangerous to people, that they could lie, and maybe they'll be in a different place that doesn't have a system like your town, like your community, and they'll be hurting other people. So that's also something that has to be looked into. The people that lie and hurt other, they just lie, and they're like, okay, if they don't convict him, I get away with it. You understand? Nothing happens to me. It's just a win-win for me. You understand? So there also has to be repercussion. What exactly should it be? Of course, there's the certain amount of money has to be paid for the damages, the embarrassment. The person could have lost his job. All different things could have happened. Their family could have, stopped talking to them, and even afterwards, just the stigma of being in this process, that you're being checked out if you did something like this, is also very serious. So that also, so you need to come up with the person. It shouldn't be that people just do it. Okay, I'll pay $1,000. It was worth it. No, you have to make sure that they pay if it's a lie. And you have 3 judges. You have 3 people that are experts on it, and you just go by the majority. And you really, you've got to make it that people don't feel that, there's, when a person wants to hurt someone else, there's a big incentive there. You have to take away that incentive. You understand? So they have to make it that they have to pay a lot of money, and they have to pay money in all these different aspects, and it's a lot, each aspect. You understand? Money talks, and people think twice. But you have this already written up. You have a system, and then you also have a system of, that you have to see each, but people, it should be known that this person lied, because remember, this person made accusation. If people don't know that this person lied, then they're going to think that it's true. So you do have to say that this person lied. You understand? So things get very complex, and even if this person, did it in a more quiet way, people should know that this person is a danger. You understand? This is also another form of dangerous people. The person that could go so far to lie about someone molesting a kid, or, you understand, or attacking a girl, or attacking a young 18-year-old girl or 19-year-old boy. This is also, or whatever age. You understand? This is also serious, that someone could just say things like this, and people should know that this person lied about something so serious, and they're a danger. You understand? This is also a danger to society. The people that lie when it didn't happen and this person is innocent, maybe the next time they lie, they won't. They'll figure out how to lie well. You understand? They went through it a few times, and then they know how to. It's so. People also have to know, if it's a lie, that this person lied. So So this is also another aspect. In Judaism, there's an idea of kasha zamam, that if a witness lies, what they try to do to the other person gets done to them. This is not every scenario. You have to understand how this works. But even us in our regular lives, if a person tries to hurt someone and it's false, it's not true, then something similar that they wanted to do to that person should happen to them. They should be ostracized. You understand? So this is very important, right? Because sometimes it seems that in life people crack down on certain on the pedophile, on the molester. You understand? But they don't crack down on the liars. So that when you crack down on one side, then that creates an imbalance. And now people are saying, well, if they find me to be a lie, nothing happens. No posters go up that I lied. No one knows about it. There's no WhatsApp group that I'm not put up on the communal WhatsApp group that I lied. So you understand, there has to be a balance. We have to be very protective, especially of children, and young adults, and of course of everybody. And the people that try, but at the same time, there's also liars and people that want to use our goodness to want to protect our kids, and they want to use that to hurt someone that's innocent. This is the evil people. They're expert at this, using our goodness against us. We have to know that we have to be equal on both sides. We have to be equal when the person is innocent and someone was trying to frame them. We have to really go after them as well. And, they shouldn't, kick them out of the community, not physically, but, just no one wants to have anything to do with them. You understand? And let other, if let's say you're a Jewish community or a Christian community or Muslim community, whatever community you are, let others know, because they'll just go there and then hurt people there. They keep going until they succeed, and they can move. So we really have to create a system that we're somehow working with each other to protect to protect each other. So this is extremely, extremely important. Now, each community, as you can imagine, after we're setting this up, each community needs to have a few people that are vetted, that children and young adults or anybody knows that they could call them if someone tried to do something to them that was improper. And let me explain why. So first of all, these people have to be vetted. There's a number for girls, and that's another woman, you understand? There's a number for boys, and that's a man, you understand? Not the opposite. Not that there's just one number and everybody calls, and they're talking. You want to keep it that the girls are talking to girls and the men are talking to men, the boys are talking to men. You understand? This is how you want to keep it. So now you need to come up with vetted ones, and probably every 6 months, once a year, you should check them out, you understand? And see if, it's not just checking them out to see if maybe they turned bad, it's to improve the system. Now, if you catch someone that went bad, right, that could also happen, but you want to, especially if people start saying something, you should of course look into it. But you want to improve things, so every 90 days, every half a month, half a year, try to see how you could make things better. They should, in general, these people should brainstorm together and, on a weekly or monthly basis, and how to make things better. And then you should have, in a broader way, that every 90 days or half a year, that them and the people in charge of the community get together and they brainstorm together. You understand? So And why is it important to have this number? You're going to say, well, the child could just tell the parents, this young adult could go to their rabbi, could go to their spiritual leader, or to, what you understand, could just go to the police. You say, what you understand, why do you need a special number, one number for men, one number for women that they could call? You understand? And the reason is because it's something that is very, first of all, the first thing is when you have a number that they could call about these things, then the people that this happened to know that if I call this number, this person, I don't have to prove to them that such a thing exists or this happened to me. They're going to say, we're going to look into it, and we're going to, you understand? They're going to connect them to these specialists that we talked about before, and we're going to have a final thing, final decision. You understand? And so they know that this, if it did happen, then these specialists will know that it happened, and they'll be taken care of. So first of all, they know that this number, there isn't any difficulty here. This is what they're here for, to deal with these situations. And so it's it's the best way to do it, because they're not afraid, because they know that's what these numbers here for. The people on the other end of this number, that's what they're here for. You understand that? And we also have to understand that it's embarrassing, right? It's embarrassing for the child, and the child is not, so smart as the young adults. Also, they're not, seasoned warriors in the world. You understand that they don't have many years of, under their belt, experience, and they don't know how to bring it up, right? The person's not going to believe me. They're all embarrassed. And what about if that person later on is I'm going to need him to help him to get married, to get a job. I don't want them to know something like this. You understand? It could affect me later on. You understand? It also could be that the person that did it is someone that's in the family, and it would be, and they're afraid to say because it's someone in the family, or was right. Unfortunately, they're, to get, it could be someone that's considered a spiritual leader also, right? There are people that somehow get into these positions, and they're really not good people. You understand? So there needs to be a number for this thing in each community. You understand? And it's someone that lives in the community that they could go and meet up with them. You understand? It's not just that there's a number and you live in Florida, but the number goes to Texas. It's not like that. You need someone in your community, in your area. You understand? Each community needs someone in their area. And that's on the other side of the number. Then you have these experts that also could be maybe a little further, but we also need, because we need to finalize if it's true or not true, and then how to go about it. You understand? Now, I also want to point out that two things about the last Torah class that we gave on this. We talked about, I was talking about the Jewish community because that's what I know, but but there's other communities. So talking about my, the Orthodox Jewish community, you understand? That's what I'm familiar with. There's other, So we were talking about, how kids, unfortunately, things could happen. We said that if something happens, usually it's not, the the end of the worst thing. It's something, someone was looking at them, maybe trolling them, or maybe touch them. It doesn't have to be even in a private part. It could just be they touch them like this, because in Judaism, you're not allowed to touch. Girl's not a touch a boy, boy's not a touch a girl outside of marriage. So you catch it at an early stage. But I also want to bring that it's not, um, even as a Jew, even an Orthodox Jew, it's not like there's no one else around, right? So a lot of the people that are getting hurt is also because there's other people from other ethnic groups, and they could have someone. You understand? So it's not that every scenario is one Jew to the other. It could be someone that's not a Jew that did something to a Jew. You understand? And vice versa. You understand? So just to understand, just to understand that, and unfortunately, I'm going to talk about one type of specific scenario that I know, uh, you know, uh, the scenario that I know. Thank God it was just a touch, but usually because even a little girl by Jews, if a boy touches them, a girl, meaning if it's little, like very little girls, but let's say a grown man touches even a little girl, because it's, the girls are more, they'll touch a boy, you understand? That's very little. But the girls, sometimes a little more, even when they're very young, we're more, careful and modesty when it comes to girls. So the girl knows this person touched me, or this person that's not a Jew touched me. Why is he touching me? She runs away. So it never gets to that, God forbid, that worst scenario. But I do know cases like this, and let me give you the scenario because I think it's important for the Jewish community, and I'm sure each community could apply it to their, to their holy places, their holy places of prayer, and that is that a Jewish shul usually has someone that's a Gentile, someone that's not a Jew, who's in charge of cleaning and mopping. Sometimes it is a Jew, you understand, but usually, right, you get a Mexican, or there's this there's this older person that he's more on the retiree. He can't really be in the workforce, so he just mops, and he gets he gets payment for the, he gets paid, and it's not bad, the payment, it's not the greatest payment, but it's this person's already old, and they don't need tons and tons of money, but they do need some. So it's everything works out, you understand? Now, so I know, again, we try to keep away from names, but I do know a certain shul, a Jewish, a certain synagogue, that this first person that they had that was very, very good, he was a Gentile, he wasn't Jewish, but he was a very fine person, he was a very, very fine person, and he would take care of the shul, and he would get his pay, and everything went fine, and he was very respectful with the kids. He was very, very good person, you understand? He didn't drink. He was just the way a person's supposed to be. Now, he decided that, he was going to retire, I don't know, in Florida or wherever it was, so he was going to leave. And he, the shul was very sad that he's leaving, but, people sometimes need to move on in life. And he went to go live wherever he wanted to live. And, to end off, his life, in a more vacation type of way. He saved up money, and so the shul needed to get someone else. So when you don't, it's very difficult, because a shul to run without someone that's taking care of everything, so they could be very quick to just throw someone into that position. And really, you need to check, is this person married, right? Sometimes a person, unfortunately, their spouse could have died. Okay, that's also okay, you understand. But is this person married? And is he married to the opposite gender? You understand? It's not like to the same gender, right? So, you know, so the you need to check to make sure that this person, is safe to bring in, right? You need to vet them, and in the zeal, you just need someone to take the place of the person that left. They'll just take whoever they could get, and then that person is now inside the shul, inside the synagogue, and hopefully he's a good person, but God forbid if he's not, he's waiting for that moment to do something to a little girl or something, or you understand, he's waiting for that moment. And I do know a story like this, and thank God the girl, he touched her, and she really, was a little girl, but she's like, why is this person touching me? We don't touch in Judaism. And she was very little, but she knew, like, that, by girls, that, even the older men, even if it's the little girl, that, what, they're not just like touching her, you understand? And, unless it's family or, close friends or something like that, you understand? So she ran away, and thank God nothing severe happened, and and she didn't. So now and they were able to deal with that situation. But we have to be careful who you bring in. You have to really vet them. It's better that the shul isn't is in shambles for 2 weeks, but you now got someone you vetted them, and they should be good. You understand? That's what you need to do. You understand? So this is also very important. We also talked about that the Zohar says that in the end of days, which definitely we are in the end of days, there's not much time left before the Mashiach, the Messiah, is going to come, and the Zohar, the mystical part of Judaism, tells us that in the end of days, there's going to be a problem with the rabbis. There's going to be a lot of fake ones. There's going to be an issue there, and we explained it a bit. Of course, there's compared to the older days, the olden days, there are more rabbis that are fake than in the olden days that are, now. But even the rabbis that are good, but they don't understand what it means to be a leader of the community. And part of that is their wife also, right? The wife is mainly with the women, and the man is mainly with the men. And and they don't realize their responsibility that they have when you become a leader of the community. If you're just a citizen there, your responsibility is not, it's not the same as if you're the one in charge of the community. If you're the one in charge, there's a big responsibility. And even from the good rabbis and the good rebbitzins, the good Rosh Hashivas, the good Rebbes, the good Chachams, all the good Mashpiyim, they don't understand the gravity of their responsibility to the community. And they really, and that's more about what the Zohar is saying. So the Zohar is not saying it has to be that way. He's just telling us what the challenge will be. There's going to be a challenge that a person becoming a rabbi won't be taught. He won't learn his responsibilities, and he really has to figure that out from himself. And he really has to think of everything. You understand? He has to say, well, if this happens, what do we do? You understand? If that happens, he really has to. What is the best? How could we set up a life for that the community could follow, that is balanced, that they're not forgetting about this world because while they're living on this world, they're living here. And at the same time, they don't become completely into this world and forget about that one day their eternal life is going to be in the next world. You understand it needs to be balanced. What's that best way? There's a lot of things that they have to think about. We talked about a lot of those things in the shir before, but it's very hard to cover everything. It's humongous, and the rabbis have to know this responsibility, and if they neglect this responsibility, then every sin that happens while they're officially in charge is they get part of that sin. How much do they get at? It's only something God could calculate, but they get part of that sin. And the more people that they're in charge and they don't take care of, is the more sin they accumulate. Imagine if you're a gadol. You understand? You're one of the greats of a nation, and you don't realize your responsibility as someone who's officially the gadol, the great one in the nation. Then all the sins of the whole nation, God forbid, go to you, right? A big portion of it, maybe sometimes all of it. You understand? And so people are so quick. They want to become a rabbi, they want to become a rebbe, a chacham, and I say slow down, because if you go there without being prepared for what your responsibility is, you could accumulate so much sin that you'll need to wait hundreds of years before you could go into Gan Eden, into paradise. You understand? It's who knows what could happen to you because of all that sin. You really got to be prepared to do everything you need to do for that community. You understand? And you have to be proactive, not reactive. This is tremendous. This is something that people miss. That's what Zohar is talking about. That this responsibility of a communal leader, they miss their responsibility. They don't understand the gravity of what they're entering into, and that's why most of them are fake. Meaning they don't have they don't know what, as a leader, what they're supposed to do. You understand? And this is very true. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're evil. There are evil ones, absolutely, but it just means that they don't know their responsibility, and it's not a leader. Meaning, it's on the books it's a leader, but physically we don't have a leader because they're very limited in what they do and and that's it. You understand? So need to understand your responsibility. I think we talked about it in our last year a little bit about the idea of, there is a way that, God forbid, if something happens, that you don't have to publicize it, and that is if this person is put under surveillance. Now, if the person refuses, then understand, then you have no choice. But we also have to understand, even if a person refuses, if a child refuses, he doesn't have enough wherewithal, he doesn't have the ability to stop, from being, even someone that's 15, you understand? They don't have the ability to stop you from having someone watch them, you understand? So it's not just if someone refuses, so then you let everybody, you tell everybody, you understand? If the person is in a scenario that you could force that watching, and then you don't have to sit and send out everything, and you could you know, go about it in that way and figure out if, you know, you take it from there, figure out first if it did happen, if it didn't, and, you know, the whole the process. So then, of course, you know, just because someone says, I don't want to be watched, doesn't mean you have to, if you're able to force him, so then just force him, you understand? If you're not able to, then you do have to let everybody know, of course, for people's safety. Now, I also want to talk about, there's, you know, we're getting a bit into ages, but you have to understand when something like this happens, it could be happening at different ages. You understand? We have to appreciate the different ages, and we also have to figure out how to deal with it, right? You know, if someone 30-year-old does this, you know, it's there, you know, it's very clear that you have to go full force, you understand? But if someone 8 does this, they're still a child, you understand? Now, people have to be protected, absolutely. So, most scenarios you're able to completely control, you know, have them watched all the time, you know. So you have to, you know, and also when someone's young, it's easier, even if they were wired wrongly, you understand? They're, if you catch it when they're young, it's easier to hopefully fix them or give them the ability to control themselves, you understand, in the future. And you really need experts to know where this person's holding. And before we know that people are safe from, God forbid, something like this happening again, right? That person needs to be watched completely. And if that can happen, then you do have to let people know. And when this person is healed, then let people know that this person is healed. And, you know, you let each person, you know, with their own judgment, decide what they want to do from there. You understand? So it's important to know that, right? Now, there's those in-between ages, right? According to science, the mind completely develops at 25, you know. But today, unfortunately, the upbringing of our children is, I won't bring on my children that way, you know. With the help of God, I won't, you know, do that. But unfortunately, most people, they just go with the flow. And the way they bring up their kids is a very unintelligent way. And even though the brain, you know, forms at 25, it could take till 30 for them to really understand what it means, responsibility and the causation of my actions, and you understand. So, you know, well, you know what? So, how to go about it, this and that. Of course, you can never, at the end of the day, if this person can't be watched, right, then you have to let people know, of course, until that person is officially healed. You understand? And then let people know that the person has been healed. And, you know, you let people judge it, you know, people then decide, you know, what they'll do from there. It's their decision. It's their life, their family, you know. But hopefully you could, you know, have this person watched, and he has to come home, or he or she has to come home, you know, whatever time, and you know, you also have to be very careful. You have to go to therapy, and you have to know that therapy, there's most therapists are unfortunately destructive, not helpful. So you have to vet. You have to make sure you get, you know, the ones that are really good. And, you know, they have to know how to do this. This is a very niche, you know, ability. So they have to find people that could do this. It's probably going to be not so easy to find, but you need to work to get someone in this area. And, you know, Now about being thrown into jail and all these things, you understand? Maybe you know, these are all that's if they could be put in some type of nice place, it's a jail, they can't leave, they're being watched, but they're being fixed, you understand? Now there are certain laws about if you did this after a certain age, then automatically you get this amount of time in prison, or you could get this amount of time in prison. You understand? So that's because they're Messiah. They hopefully it's a good judge, but they're the people making. But they're Messiah. They calculate that at this age this should not happen, and it's not enough that we're going to work on fixing them. This person also has to be punished. You understand? He has to, for what he did. It's not like an 8-year-old did something. You understand? Of course there could be certain things, like when an 8-year-old killed someone, then that could be different. But here we're not talking about killing. Here let's say he I don't know, took, ripped someone's clothing off or something like that. Even God forbid if they actually did some type of the actual act. This is for a judge to understand where, is there if it's someone that's very young that did something, could we fix it? You understand? If we can't, then then we have to take it from there. But could we fix it? And even if a kid is saying no, but it's a child, and it's easier to fix. You understand? So you really need people that really want the good for the community, for this person. And there's two aspects. There's the aspect of helping this person to learn to either change his, to get rewired or changed, or learn how to control himself. You understand? And someone is a pedophile and they're just wired, and there's really no way to change it, but you could teach them how to control it, get married, do kindness, keep away from kids. You understand? Go to sleep early. There's ways. Instead of going to sleep late and waking up late, go to sleep early and wake up early, because the early hours is you understand is less kids around. So now of course in all these scenarios we want to catch it before anything happens. That's really what that's really the point of me speaking about this, is we want to create a system to catch things before they happen, and not have to deal with after the fact. And there's one aspect you want to see if you could fix this person, and then there's the other aspect: is this person old enough that they actually should get a punishment for what they did? Or how big should the punishment be? These are very complex things. So this is another aspect. And it's also important to note with all this, even, of course, according to the law, according to the, I live in America, according to the American law, there's no consent before 18. But at that same time that we realize there's no consent, so if something happened, we consider that person to be a pervert. At the same time, if someone's 17 consented, even though legally there's no consent, but they did, they did say, okay, I want to be with you, you understand, or they, in their actions, they, took off their clothes, whatever it was, you understand. There wasn't forced. So, a judge and the community has to understand that, that this person in 2 months or a month is going to be 18. You understand? So it's true it happened before, and it's true, but it's not the same as if it was forced upon him or her. You understand? Usually, unfortunately, so it's not the same. So we have to understand that there's many factors. Let's say it's a 12-year-old, but they consented. You understand? Meaning they wanted this. You understand? So now, if it's an 8-year-old, you could say very clearly that this person, it's easy to fool an 8-year-old. You understand? But if it's, let's say, a 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 8-year-old, you have to understand that it's not the same. Even though in like when you're looking at the exact legal term, it is considered a pervert. It is molesting, right? But there's a big difference when a person molests by forcing, or when a person molests when the other person consented. You understand? So just to understand that, this is very important to know how to go about it. And if the girl or boy was 17 and this happened and they consented, wasn't someone didn't come and rip their clothing off and force them, you understand? Then maybe we could be more easy. The person doesn't have to be watched the whole time, and it's a more light watching, a more things could, we don't have to let people know about it, because you understand, we could do things in a more lighter way. You understand? So of course we have to. It was still wrong, but it's not the same wrong as if it was forced. You understand? So these are also very important things to take into mind. The different scenarios. What is we always want to do good in the eyes of Hashem, in the eyes of God. We try our best to figure out what would God do in this scenario. And of course, there's a difference between when someone forced themselves upon someone else, God forbid, or when it was that when the other person consented, and legally they do not have the ability to consent. Is different, those two scenarios. So this is the different the different things that we have to think about when we're addressing these types of scenarios, and to work towards the best way how to go about it, that people are kept safe, people feel safe, people, you understand, and if we can, to also protect the people that were hurt. You understand? That they shouldn't be embarrassed. But like we discussed, you could have that person being watched, and then you don't have to, put up posters and set it up on, or send to everybody's WhatsApp. Which watch out for this person. They did something, and they'll figure out that who they did it to. Because everybody's curious. You understand? So if you could do that, fine. If you can't, then unfortunately you do have to let people know. You understand? So it depends on the scenario. We try to do the best we can. In life, this is part of life, that we're not in the next world. We're on this world, and in this world, we it's a world of test, and because of that, we can't. There'll be times that someone will get hurt even though they don't deserve it, right? The person that, God forbid, had pedophile done to them, or was molested, they shouldn't be getting hurt more, of course, but But at the same time, we don't want someone else to get hurt. And because of that, we need to tell people if we're not able to confine this person or have him be watched. You understand? So in this world, it's not, you can't avoid all the time from hurting people. You could avoid as much as you can. You understand? That's this world. That's the reality of this world. And I think if we understand the reality of this world, and then we would maybe be more cautious about, instead of being reactive, to be proactive. Because if we live in an imagination that no one can get hurt, so you don't say it, and if the person does it again, then we'll just deal with that. You understand? Then if that's the way someone thinks, then they won't set up this whole system that we're discussing, that each community needs to set up. But if they knew that we might have to, God forbid, cause more embarrassment to someone in order to protect other people from getting molested, if they realize the reality of that, then they would say, ooh, so let me prevent it from ever happening. And then we could prevent it hopefully 100% of the time. But, realistically, it might be 99%, 95% of the time. You understand? Which is basically never. You understand? So, basically always. You understand? We could have a high success. And that's even better. So, realizing the truth will actually take away the problem 95, 86%, maybe 76% of the time, instead of this happening, 76, 86, 95, 99% of the time. We could actually flip it. And then, so when we think properly, then we actually come out helping people more than if we just, imagine things, live in our imagination and don't think rationally because about the klal, about the community, about everybody. And if we thought about everybody, then we would get better in all areas of our lives, so much more and so much quicker. And that's the way Hashem, God wants us to be. Love you all, and God loves you all.